Hello, my name is Brittany Johnson. For this week's assignment 1, I chose Robert F. Kennedy's speech on the death of Martin Luther King from 1968 as my great speech. Robert F. Kennedy delivered this speech to a crowd that was not even aware yet of the death of Martin Luther King, and once they learned of his death, they would once again be unaware of their future. Robert F. Kennedy delivered this speech 5 years after the death of his brother John F. Kennedy and 2 months before his own death. These 3 men were all killed over the changes they wanted to make in the world. And if they would have not been killed, the changes they would have made, the impact they would have had, their legacies would have been what you remembered them by, not their assassination. Robert F. Kennedy on the speech from the death of Martin Luther King. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm only going to talk to you just for a minute or so this evening because I have some very sad news for all of you. And I think sad news for all of our fellow citizens and people who love peace all over the world. And that is that Martin Luther King was shot and killed tonight in Memphis, Tennessee. Martin Luther King dedicated his life to love and to justice between fellow human beings. He died in the cause of that effort. In this difficult day, in this difficult time for the United States, it perhaps well to ask what kind of nation we are and what direction we want to move in. For those of you who are black, considering the evidently is that there was white people who were responsible. You can be filled with bitterness and with hatreds and a desire for revenge. We can move in that direction as a country in a grateful apologizing, black people amongst blacks and whites amongst whites, filled with hatreds towards one another, or we can make an effort, as Martin Luther King did, to understand and comprehend and replace the violence that stains of the bloodshed that has spread across our land with an effort to understand compassion and love. For those of you who are black and are tempted to be filled with hatred and mistrust of the injustice of such an act against all white people, I would only say that I can also feel in my own heart the same kind of feeling. I had a member of my family killed, but he was killed by a white man. But we have to make an effort in the United States. We have to make an effort to understand, to get beyond those rather difficult times. One of my favorite poets once wrote, "Even in our sleep, pain which cannot forget falls drop by drop upon the heart, until in our own despair against our will comes wisdom through the awful grace of God." What we need in the United States is not division. What we need in the United States is not hatred. What we need in the United States is not violence and lawfulness, but is love and wisdom and compassion towards one another, and a feeling of justice towards those who still suffer within our country, whether they be white or whether they be black. So I ask you tonight to return home, to say a prayer for the family of Martin Luther King. Yes, that is true, but more importantly, to say a prayer for our country, which all of us love. A prayer for understanding and compassion, of which I spoke. We can do well in this country. We all have difficult times. We've had difficult times in the past, and we will have difficult times in the future. It is not the end of violence. It is not the end of lawfulness. It is not the end of disorder, but the vast majority of white people and the vast majority of black people in this country want to live together, want to improve the quality of our life, and want justice for all human beings that abide in our country. Let us dedicate ourselves to what the Greeks wrote so many years ago, to tame the savageness of men and make gentle the life of this world. Let us dedicate ourselves to that and say a prayer for our country and for our people. Thank you very much.